Yo, what's up, guys? It's me, Jake, from the Raku Otaku podcast, and today I am joined with Dom Hoozle,
What's going on?
J Dawkin,
Alrighty, guys. What's up? Welcome back to East Coast Manga.
Mongum Box,
What's up?
and the king of all degenerates, someone we all hate, East Coast Manga.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the podcast.
Ugh.
And we actually just got a Instagram if you want to go check that out. The link will be in the description below. And yeah, start us off. Who's going to start us off with this? We're going to have Dom start off with the backstory
Wait,
of how we got into anime and manga.
The theme of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be. I forgot about that whole thing. Today we're going to be talking about how we got into anime and manga, guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Dom, you said you want to start?
Yeah, since I have like 15 years, which is basically everybody's age, makes me feel
He's just
really
13.
old. But so, yeah, mine started like 15 years ago, back in like middle school. So I guess I had already kind of gotten into anime and manga with like stuff like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And I read like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga and stuff like that. But I didn't really like know at that time that it was, like otaku stuff. I had just assumed it was like American comics and American cartoons. It was, the books were flipped backwards, but that was just weird at the time. And that was also the time, like, at that time you couldn't really get into anime and manga as you did, like, you can now. It wasn't as widely available. Like, I could go to the library and find it, or I could go to Blockbuster and get like a video out. But it wasn't like there wasn't stores dedicated to manga yet, really. And if they were, they really weren't like advertised as much because the internet wasn't prevalent. And then as I got through middle school, I started to watch things like Naruto came out on like Cartoon Network or Toonami or whatever it was, and I started to get more of a deep dive into it. Started out with the basics: Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, all those, and then once I caught up with those, then it was finding other ways to watch more of this like new genre of stuff that I found. And that was when YouTube started to become more of a thing, and I saw people were posting like whole episodes of anime online, and so I was getting into anime that I had never heard of, and still to this day probably most people have never heard of. I was watching things like there was Desert Punk, Samurai Gun, stuff like that. At the same time, the one that stuck out to me the most is Funimation. For a lot of people don't know, Funimation used to have a TV channel. I don't know if it's still around, but they had a TV channel at one point. And they would show random episodes of different things. They had Inuyasha episodes. They had XX Holic or whatever it's called. And they had this one that started all of the kind of like romance series obsession for me, which is called Peach Girl. And I don't know anything about Peach Girl. The only things that I knew going into Peach Girl, because it showed like random episodes, is everybody hated each other. There was always some drama. Everybody was punching each other, but everybody like was falling in love with the same people. And for whatever reason, they were in school, but they kind of looked like college kids, and they were allowed to just leave school whenever they felt like it. So it was a really confusing thing, but for whatever reason, that stuck with me. In the back of my head. So I was watching all these YouTube series at the same time I was watching, the Funimation channel, and watching, whatever episodes I could get off of that. And then Toonami came around, and I was watching stuff on that. And then Funimation started posting like whole seasons of stuff on their YouTube channel. So I started watching things like Spice and Wolf, Oh My Goddess. What else did they have? Heaven's Lost Property.
Oh, I love that show.
That's
There
a really good one.
was Familiar of Zero, Pumpkin Scissors, Fairy Tale. Just to name a few. So I was watching, but I was watching like all these different kinds of stuff because I didn't know what genres I liked back then. I was just watching whatever, and whatever I could find, I watched it. And then slowly I started to see that Anitubing started to become a thing. And when it first started out, it's just like how manga tubing is now, where it's just collections. It wasn't like people weren't doing deep dive reviews really or stuff like that. It was mainly the main things that got views were hauls and collections of the anime DVDs that people were getting from conventions or whatever. And I think that first started my kind of like dive into collecting, which collecting anime even now is way, way more expensive than collecting manga. Like you can, for $60, you could get half an anime. But for that much, you could get like what at full price a $10 manga. So, 6 of those or whatever.
6 volumes.
Yeah. So you could get a whole season and then some of what the anime was showing. And then not even considering like the collector's edition stuff and all of those box sets for anime. Insane. But that really started me off. And then from there, moving into high school, I started to learn that abridging was a thing. And I started to do that. And I just did it with friends. It was a lot of fun. We did a abridged series on Girls Bravo. Which, if you haven't seen that, it is a trip and a half. It is the weirdest thing ever. Basically, guy gets transported into another world, which I guess it's one of like the first isekai, but he gets transported to a world that's only filled with women, and they see him, a guy, and they all want him because
Fucking degenerate.
it's the only guy on the planet. But the best part is he has an allergy where he breaks out in hives if a woman touches him.
So why does this sound like a weirder version of World's End Harem? It definitely does. He's
Probably
Interesting.
Probably because it's like, it probably got its influence from it. But yeah, check out Girls Bravo. It's a trip and a half. But basically, he gets transported back and forth to the worlds or whatever. It's quite an interesting plot. I wouldn't say it was good by any standards, but it's certainly funny. That's for sure. But yeah, that started me into abridging. And from abridging, I started going to conventions, which conventions are god-awful cringy. But they're so much fun still. From there, got into like cosplay. Then as I kind of made my way through, and high school is actually when I learned of Katekyo Hitman Reborn, which is an awesome fucking series. But after high school ended, I had to kind of settle down for a while because, you got college stuff to do and it gets a lot more demanding. High school I could kind of breeze through. It wasn't anything hard. I could get by with even not studying in high school and still get like at least B's. It wasn't like a hard task. But college, that wouldn't fly at all. You got term papers and all that stuff. Not fun. But so during my first couple years of college, kind of dropped off again, and then I started to pick it back up. I tried to do bridging again, didn't work out. I just didn't have the same feel for it. Part of that's because the community in bridging is very, very toxic. and I would not recommend anybody doing it. And also, abridging is very much illegal. Every in abridging, like, absolutely is like, oh, it's a fan-made parody. We're not doing anything illegal. Bro, it's illegal. It's so illegal. Like, going through, I have an art degree, so I have a BFA with track and graphic design. Going through that, I had to learn everything about how the art world works. Yeah, you can totally, it doesn't matter. Like, every abridger could get thrown in jail for so many years and get sued off their butt. But of course, you know, fair use is a slippery slope. No, it's not. It's not that slippery. It's quite surprising that, like, they didn't crack down on us more. But anyways, gave up on that as I kind of, like, fell into the what's it called, the art world. And as I was, like, going through college, you know, anime kind of dropped off for me. I didn't feel like there was the same quality. A lot of stuff had more, like, of the CGI stuff. I still watched a lot of anime, but it was, like, slowly dying, and to the point, like, today I don't really pick up any anime. I have to really, really like the art style, and the story has to be, like, pretty engaging for me to want to pick it up. Even series that I read the manga, like, I watch the anime, and I'm like, no, not even. It's not going to happen. So anime is dying off, so I kind of started to get more into manga. For me, manga was a lot more work, because you have to read it, and it's not like being read to you like anime is, and it's not dumbing it down for you, because anime dumbs it down so much. They cut out so many plot points. They're just like, here's all the good stuff, but we're going to get rid of all the details that make those scenes good,
And just add filler.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Naruto's 56-minute filler.
Dom,
I'm
I have a
bored.
question.
Yeah.
Back on the abridged, sort of like path of your life. This is something I've been wanting to talk about on the podcast for quite a bit.
Yeah.
You talked to Sid Snap, a YouTuber with 500K or something of the sort.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. Yeah. Can you explain that a bit?
So, I mean, at that time, Sid was nothing. She was so the only reason Sid got all of the roles she did is because she was like one of the only females that really did anything. Because even if you could find a female as a to join your cast, a lot of them didn't have I would say good commitment. I did meet a lot of others that were great. And then the other issue was she had like the only good mic. She was the only one upgrading her equipment. So, she actually put like a lot of emotion into her lines. Like a lot of people would go, "Oh no," where like Sid would be like, "Oh no, oh, what's happening?" And it's like the difference is like so much for a series that you're trying to like make a comedy out of. You know, you really want those over the top reactions. But yeah, at the time, I mean, she had maybe like 100 subs, and then I had her in pretty much every series I did, just because we were good friends, and it was just like I just used my same friend group all the time. So if I needed someone for a thing, I'd hit up the same people, and whoever answered first, I was like, all right, you're in. You can be this character. But yeah, she wasn't as popular as she is now, and like me, she wasn't really like didn't realize how A, cringy abridging is, and B, how like bad it was. Like we all like enjoyed it and we all thought it was so good, but like you watch your stuff back and it's just like, ooh, I don't want to watch that anymore. But yeah, I mean, I think when I stopped talking to her, she had like maybe 5,000 subs, and I don't talk to her anymore. Yeah, so that was the bridging for me with Sid, and she's not the only like popular abridger that I talked to. She's just the most well known because she got out of it, and she's dating is his name Gigunk?
Giga.
Yeah,
Gigank.
from Trash
Just call him Grant.
No, his name's Gark, bro.
Grant.
Gart?
Gart.
It
Bro,
doesn't
Gart's
matter.
such a bad name.
The G dude
Dude.
from
Aren't they,
Trash
like-
Taste.
Yo, I hope
they're
he
the
I hope he
same.
finds this.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine.
The inferior podcast, of course, Trash Taste.
Yeah, Trash Taste is nothing compared to the Raku Otaku
Yeah,
podcast.
we're the better trash taste.
Well, nothing compares. Nothing compares.
But anyways, so getting back into manga, I started like reading more, and I was reading scans for a long time. I had like some physical manga, like I had the first 6 of Bakuman, and I was getting that as it came out. For whatever reason, I stopped at 6. I guess I just didn't have the money at the time. And I had a couple other things, like I had some random volumes of Fairy Tail that I still have, and I had like Black Cat and Azumanga Daiho and stuff like that. You know, I had random volumes and stuff, but I wasn't really collecting it. I was just grabbing it because I was like, oh, I know the anime of that, so clearly I'll like the manga. Not true at all.
I mean, Fairy Tail's a different beast.
Yeah. But anyways, so I was mainly reading scans, and it wasn't till like maybe like a year or two ago that I really started like collecting physicals. And that was mainly because a lot of the scans, they're risky because you don't know if they're going to be there all the time. Eventually someone might a publisher might crack down and say, nope, that's got to go, and then it's gone forever. Like how Kiss Anime was or whatever. Or chapters will just go missing for whatever reason, or the scans will just be absolutely terrible. Or they'll just give up. They'll just give up on scanning it. So really a lot of the series that I was reading were starting to get published, I saw that the scans were kind of giving up as they got published, which I think is a good thing to do, but at the same time, not everybody can afford physicals, and I don't knock anybody for reading scans. I read them all the time, and it's how I discover series that I would have never read before.
East Coast manga will kill you if you read scans.
Yeah, it's illegal, bro. East doesn't like that.
Oh,
He's
whatever.
a cop.
He's a degenerate.
Yeah, me and Based Crackdown.
Whatever.
Of course.
But for me, I spend so much money on physicals that I'm just like, there's no way like someone that's like in their teens or whatever could spend just as much on this. I mean, there's certainly like different cases, but not everybody's well off enough to where or they have a job or whatever to be able to buy physicals. And I don't think we should kill people for wanting to stay in the community and wanting to read stuff but can't because of whatever financial situation they have. But regardless, that's topic for way another time. But yeah, so now we get into kind of here now where I'm reading more manga. I want to say I have something like 600 volumes at this point because my collection's definitely doubled, and last time I took a count was like at 300. And that was, I wasn't even double rowed, and now I'm on the floor because I don't have enough room on my shelves. I got to get another bookshelf at some point. Yeah, I mean, I've pretty much been in like, I feel like every kind of aspect of the otaku community. I've been in the convention parts. I've done cosplay, did the anime, did the manga, deep dived into virtual stuff like the VTubers, and then before that it was iChan, who was like instead of virtual streamers, it was virtual just YouTubers. And then before that, it was the kind of Hatsu Miku creep. And then before that, it was just Hatsu Miku, which was just like chipmunked versions of her own songs. And then before that, it was like what is it called? Nightcore. Yeah, it was
Nightcore had
before
some
that.
stuff.
Nightcore. So that Nightcore stemmed into now we did that with. Now there's a virtual anime girl doing her own Nightcore songs, and then it became a Nightcore group, and then that became anime girl doing YouTube videos. To now we have anime girls doing YouTube streams, and now we have them anime girls doing YouTube streams in English, and I'm interested to see where that goes. But yeah, I've seen the anime community, the otaku community in general, just evolve over time, and it's so cool to see stuff like being more widely available and more access to it, so more people can get into it. But yeah, that's
Dom's an OG.
Yeah, that's my
Dom's an
15
OG.
years of otaku culture.
Funny enough, that's older than like half the people here. 15 years.
That's why I was like, maybe I should go first because mine's the most in depth.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I've been around the longest. Makes
So
me
you
feel
said
old.
something about cosplaying. Do you think you could leak some of that?
Yeah, we need the pics, Dom.
Yeah, I'm not
Oh
gonna
my
give
God.
out the pics, but when I first
He's
got
got some.
into when I first got into conventions, I was doing I was doing the basics where you get the cosplay at the convention. It's like ready made, like the Chinese thing and Chinese knockoff things. Where it was like I did Lelouch. I've done I can't remember what the name was of the character, but it was one of the characters from Pokemon. I think it was the Diamond guy, the guy from Diamond
Was it
and
Paul?
Pearl.
Paul?
No, it was the guy with the beret, I think. I don't remember what
not
game
Paul.
that was. I'm
I think
pretty
that was
sure it's Diamond and
Ruby
Pearl.
and Sapphire. That might be Ruby and Sapphire too.
Maybe. I'd have to go back and look. But I did that. Who else did I do? I did Symbiote Spider-Man. Or Symbiote Spider-Man. Feel like I did a couple others, but I can't remember them right now. But now I've gone into... I do Star Wars cosplay. So I've done the Inferno Trooper from the... what is it called? Battlefront 2, the new one. Then I have a complete Sand Trooper armor. And I think I have a Commander Wolf hopefully soon. But they're definitely not like easy things to cosplay, and like it costs a lot of money to get into it. I think because I can't just print. I have a 3D printer, but to 3D print all that would take so many months, and it would just kill my printer. So I've printed like a couple things, like I've printed some helmets and stuff like that, but full armor, I'm not going to print that. So I have to buy it from a seller, and that can cost thousands of dollars.
Well done.
So it's not a cheap hobby to do.
There's
Would
only
you
one
be able
person.
to sell stuff you 3D print for a lot?
I've 3D printed for my girlfriend. I 3D printed her helmet, which she did the second sister from Jedi Fallen Order. I've 3D printed it's a Mark II clone helmet from Revenge of the Sith. I did Asajj Ventress's lightsabers. What else have I done? I've done some kind of like random coins and stuff like that. Did some batarangs. Just random stuff.
Wow, he likes anime and Star Wars.
Yeah.
Cringe.
Also like
and
sports.
Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he did say battering.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
The only person I would ever be willing to cosplay is literally Sakura from Bunny Girl Senpai, because like that takes the minimum amount of effort. I would
Yeah,
really just need to get contacts and a suit.
Well, it's like, so a lot of cosplays for guys, it's not very, like, you could do one, and I've done some where it's just like, no, like, people come up to you and you're like, oh, you're this person from this anime, and it's like, no. and then they'll show you a picture and it's like, oh, that looks exactly the same, because they all look exactly the same, because guy characters all look the exact same unless they're like a shonen protagonist with like some wacky hair, you know.
The only reason I said Sakura is because his suit's brown while every other person who's in a school anime suit is black. So that's
I'm
the
just
difference.
gonna cosplay as Jake the Pog.
Yo, all you have to do is get the glasses.
I think I'm gonna cosplay as We Do Be collecting manga.
Ooh, that'd be a good cosplay.
I think I'm gonna cosplay as Otaku Modest.
Same.
Really?
But,
you're gonna need a lot more rare manga to do that.
Yeah,
Jake.
I'm gonna need GTO, Gans, all the shit. But
Initial D.
That's actually that would probably cost you around the same amount of money that it cost Dom to purchase all the equipment and stuff.
Probably like $3,000.
But on to the sort of, because I have probably the second longest sort of manga otaku journey, and mine started a bit interesting. So as you know, I'm a bit of a gamer girl. So I was like, when I was younger, I played. Yeah, 100%. I'm selling it soon. So I would play a lot of like The Legend of Zelda, if you've heard of the game.
Never heard of it.
Oh, just fantastic game space.
I played the new
I'd
one.
always play it, and then yeah,
The little
it's just
chibi one?
a really great game.
That one was fun.
Yeah. I got you. But it's pretty much what I do is I'd go to the library every day just looking for like, because back then I was shit at games. I was a bad gamer girl, so I'd look at like strategy guides because my library or whatever every now and then would just ship them in, and sometimes they had them for like Zelda, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past or Mario Galaxy or so on. And then one day I looked in the section where they usually were, and I saw The Legend of Zelda. It didn't say manga, but because I wasn't really aware it was manga at the time, but it was The Legend of Zelda. That's just what it was called. And I just got so engrossed. It was like I was reading him. I felt like I was reading the game, and I was like able to experience it without playing it. And I really enjoyed it. So I got the entire set, I think, all the games in manga form, and I just like, yep. So then I kept going back to the library, and then like I heard one of my friends who was semi into, he'd heard about Fairy Tail from his friends, and he was like, oh, I really like, it was a lot of different things that got me in. He was like, oh, I really like Fairy Tail, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna watch it. And then I watched a bit of it, and then the thing that broke the camel's like back and really got me into manga was when I played Chrono Trigger, which was another Nintendo game. And then I love the art design, beautiful game. And I looked, and it was made by Akira Toriyama. And I'd heard people, throwing around Dragon Ball because I was sort of in that circle of like nerdiness. So I was like, okay, I've seen Dragon Ball a couple times at the library. Let's check it out. And then I think I got the entirety of the original Dragon Ball, then maybe like the first 3 and 1 or 2 of Dragon Ball Z, and then I just read it over the weekend, like over one weekend. I just binge read it, and I just fell in love. And then this was like 2015. Legend of Zelda manga was 2014, and then I just got super into it. And then the next series that I tackled was One Piece, because from what I'd heard, it was comedy. That's what everyone was telling me. Because I'd watched, once I got engrossed, I kept watching videos. People like Code Provider, big shout out to him, who were just like getting me into series after series. So then I decided to check out One Piece because I again, loved the Battle Shonen at that time, and One Piece was just what engrossed me. Just the world building, the connection to everything, the way that all the characters are built. It was just like, it felt so real, but like it was just something about it that just engrossed me. And then after that, I pretty much just picked up pretty much every shonen that my library had. Big ones. Let's go through a couple. Naruto, of course. Let's see what else. One Punch Man and Assassination Classroom were the 2 that I got as they were coming out. I got them. Loved both of those series. And then I didn't really get into anime until one time. There was a manga that I saw called Attack on Titan. Looked interesting. Didn't really want to read it. I was a bit young at the time, so I thought it was going to give me nightmares. But then, like, a year or so later, I decided to pick up the anime, and again, the anime just engrossed me, and then I watched all the big series, like, that were popular at the time, like Sword Art Online, blah, blah, blah. And then from, like, 2016 to 2017, I was just out of manga and anime, just not into it. The only thing I really kept up with was One Piece and One Punch Man. That was it, just out of the scene. And then one series just really pulled me back into it. And it's a series that I hate on quite a bit, and I don't like the series anymore. But it was 2017. I was going to a new school, and it was Neon Genesis Evangelion was something that I just really liked. And bro, before Jake, chill. Before I get like
you knew the side.
get slammed. Before I get slammed, pretty much I didn't like the story. I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. But I loved the animation, the style of like directing, the filmmaking, everything. It was so weird and it was so like entrancing, and it was just like I wanted to learn more about the series. So obviously, as every person who watches Evangelion does, I watched a lot of YouTube videos and just got really into the lore. Nowadays, I rewatch it. It's a shit anime, poorly done. Just don't even fuck with it. Like
you shouldn't have to study the anime to watch the anime.
Yeah, Shoujo Tsubaki is much better.
Better animation, better story. Actually, like intriguing. I get the first scene is Lilia mom getting eaten out from her insides by rats, but
it's kind of pog. But pretty much that sent a spiral for the year of 2017, where I just was watching constant mecha, and that's where series like Code Geass and Fully Cooley became like some of my favorites. It was pretty much just mecha, just mecha. Honestly, like I was just super into mechas. I watched a bit of Gundam. I think Unicorn was the one that was going on at that moment, or maybe Iron Blooded Orphans. Not sure exactly. Yeah, but I just got super into mecha. Nothing really else. Again, I was keeping up with One Piece. And this was sort of, I was out of manga. It was more an anime thing. Me and my friends, every week, we'd watch a new anime. We had an anime club at our school where we'd watch it. We assigned ourselves like an anime to watch over the
week.
Yeah.
I did that in high school too. It was the worst.
Oh my god, it was so bad.
I feel like that would just take away the enjoyment of watching an anime because you're like forced to watch it and then like review it.
But that was also when I watched Fully Cooley for the first time, so always gonna cherish that.
Unbox, you had a club at your school too. You had that club that got put together, right? Is that my memory's correct on that one?
I don't think so.
No, you're talking about
was that someone else?
That was J-Dog, right?
Oh, yeah.
The club?
The club. That's for another episode. That's for another episode.
That's an amazing story.
That's for our childhood cringe episode. Coming soon.
Dude, oh my god.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Are we gonna do that?
Dude, are we gonna have to talk about Bleach Drinker 666 in that video?
Oh my god.
Oh my
so
god. I'm gonna
the
get cancelled.
The people have something to look forward to.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and pretty much, I wasn't into manga. Again, it was just the anime. We were pretty into it. I watched amassed a lot of series, Konosuba, ReZero, finishing up AOT because the second season was actually finally out. And then I kind of took a break from anime, another just year-long break. Just like that was a year where I just got back into video games. It sort of flip-flopped. And then 2019, early 2020, was when there's a YouTuber named Insidious Swede. If you know who he is, yeah, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much he did manga collections and manga reviews, and I was like, yep, this seems interesting, but I don't really have the money. I'm kind of spending money on video games at the moment. And then another one that popped up was NZ Anime Manga, and I was like, okay, getting a bit more interested. And then Old Shaman, and then I think the one that really just was like, I want this for myself, was a mix of Gear third manga reviews and Based Senpai, where it's like, I just saw the collections and I was like, I really want this for myself. So first thing I picked up was Monster. Loved the anime, so I decided to pick up the manga. And then it just was a constant thing where I'd try to pick up a volume a week. And then the quarantine hit, and that's where the obsession started. That's where I'd buy a series a week. I remember I just fucking bought 17 volumes every week. It was just insane. I still don't even do that. And that's pretty much just where I am at now. Just collecting series that I'm interested in. Obviously still into video games and all that stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much just where I am right now. Not as interested in anime. As Dom said, it kind of really needs to engross me if I'm gonna choose the anime over the manga. Yep, that's where I'm at right now.
Very cool.
Interesting.
You guys are gonna make me feel so old. Because like I was
I
thinking
think
back, I was like, oh my god. Because you said 2015 is when you started. I was like, I think 2005. But I was like, no, that was high school. I think so, right? And I was like, oh no, what? Oh my
Dom,
god,
to make
how
you feel
far
older,
back?
Dom, to make you feel older, when you were in high school, I was born in 2003,
Oh.
and I'm like one of the oldest ones here.
Dom, what year did you graduate?
So I think I was in high school from like 2012 was my last year, so 2008 to 2012.
Wow.
And so I must have dived into anime at like 2003, 2004.
Shit. Okay, to make Dom not feel old, I feel
did
like we
not
have to have
exist.
like Easton here now, like to tell you about his King of Degeneracy, how he started.
But he started
Yes.
way recently, didn't you?
Wait, we're gonna let him talk.
Yeah, we're gonna let him talk after
Alright,
this
alright,
long.
alright.
We got him on here. Why not?
Been hyping him up. I don't know who let him in here.
All right, degenerate.
One question though:
Go ahead.
who let him in here though? Like, who left the garage door open?
I think
Uh,
I don't think I'm
I
bots.
just wandered into the Discord. Like,
It
how'd
was
that
you,
even
Dom.
happen?
It was not me. I came home and you guys had already let him in.
Letting him.
Listen,
I was
I
getting-
told you guys several times. I was trying to find the Walmart. I took a wrong turn. I ended up here. This is kind of similar to Walmart. There's a lot of trash and degenerates here. And you know what? I just decided to stay. I liked it better than Walmart.
I guess you fit in.
Is that your origin story? Is that it?
That's my origin story of how I got on this podcast.
Oh, okay. So
A little bit of lore. Lore, sorry. And so yeah, so I typically like to say that it started off with Death Note, but that's not like fully true. I watched, that was the first anime I technically ever watched, like while knowing it's anime. And then Death Note was the first manga I purchased, but it wasn't actually the first manga I read. I just really like the black editions, so those kind of caught my eye in the store. I picked those up, but because I pretty much watched all of the anime except for maybe 10 episodes, I didn't really read those that much. That was more so my brother reading them. I would say what really got me, and this was about 2 years ago. Yeah, about 2 years ago. I think 2 August ago. So what really got me into manga is the Dragon Ball box set I picked up off Amazon. It was like $80 or something like that. I'm someone who has like never watched any Dragon Ball Z, like anything anime related growing up. I really had pretty much no interest in, except for the anime that was disguised as cartoons in the West. So like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, honestly, to a certain extent, kind of Naruto. I think those were the big ones, and then later on, I've talked about this before, but Zatch Bell I really enjoyed, and then after that, that was pretty much it in terms of like me watching any anime stuff until probably some point in high school, I think, when my cousin recommended me to watch Death Note. Concept sounded really cool, sounded really dark, and I checked that out on Netflix, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think the anime does a great job in terms of the adaptation after reading the entire Death Note manga. I would say, though, what really got me in and hooked would be the Dragon Ball box set, and then also I would say the two most popular series within the last couple of years, being The Promised Neverland and My Hero Academia. Both of those were, at the top of the charts 2 years ago, and those were like the series where when I was in a Barnes and Nobles, they had a ton of them, or they had a decent amount of My Hero, and then Promised Neverland. I think I just read like the back of the book or something like that, and it sounded really, really cool. So I got those, really, really enjoyed those. I've kind of fallen off My Hero just a little bit, just because it's a longer running shonen series, and I got like 20 something volumes, but I'm just kind of waiting till it finishes to pick up more. But then after reading those, I'm like, all right, this is really cool. But at the same time, I was still kind of stuck in the shonen category because once again, I didn't read Death Note at the time. When I had those series, I probably had like 2 or 3 volumes of Death Note, and when I kind of found what I really enjoyed was when I picked up Urasawa's Monster, and I'm sure most people probably know about this, but it is really, really good. It's really well put together seinen manga, which I had never experienced seinen manga before. So after Monster, I picked up 20th Century Boys, and then the ball just kind of started rolling for like things outside of shonen. Not that I don't like shonen, I love shonen, but I've kind of found my niche in psychological or like darker manga, and I kind of like more realistic manga sometimes. And I think that's why another reason I don't really watch and haven't really ever watched too much anime is because well, one of the reasons is it's really long. And not to say that manga isn't also really long, but I can usually get through manga way faster than an anime. And that's kind of my priority right now. If I was, younger and still in, like middle school or high school or something like that, I'd probably have more time to watch anime and, just to kind of do whatever I wanted. But now it's like I'd rather just try to get through it as fast as possible. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I really got into this. I would actually say I really got into this like a year ago or almost a year ago. COVID kind of accelerated things a lot because there was just nothing to do for like 2 or 3 months when it first started. And I was able to read like a ton of manga that for the months prior I wasn't even able to touch. Like, let's say I started collecting around I don't know, let's say June 2019. Yeah, I think it was June 2019 when I first got in. And then from June to August I picked up some stuff because I had to do some classes during the summer, and the classes I took were like right next to this huge Barnes and Noble, so I had a lot of fun picking up stuff over there. I was reading a lot, and then probably August to like, I would say maybe October, maybe I picked up a couple things, but then once October ended, I was in school full time and also like working full time, so I don't even think I picked up any of my books until COVID started. I kind of just like almost kind of forgot about them just because I didn't have any time to really read them. I wasn't making videos. I didn't have a channel, so like, I didn't even pretty much talk to other people who were also reading. My cousins have always kind of been to this, but like not collecting physically. They just read scans and watch anime. But I think it definitely accelerated due to COVID, and then also just being able to talk to people about this is also really cool. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much how I got into it and kind of where I'm at right now.
Are you gonna make a video canceling your cousins for reading scans?
I mean,
No,
listen.
you already told them.
Listen, I already made one apology video. Okay, I can't make another one.
Oh yeah.
That's also for a different episode.
Yeah, that one's already privated. You guys don't gotta worry about that one. But also, actually, to actually go in a little more depth of why I started collecting more manga after I picked up like The Promised Neverland and whatnot was actually YouTube and manga channels. I think J-Dog? Yeah, I think J-Dog talked about this. So I don't know how I found it. Probably just... Oh, actually, it started with Reddit. So for whatever reason, I started using Reddit a little more. And I saw that there was a manga collectors Reddit or subreddit, and they would be posting like hauls and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that looks really cool. Like, what are all these series about, basically? Because if you don't have someone to like talk to, or like someone to watch or like look at their hauls and stuff, you don't really learn about a lot of series unless you do some like deep diving, or you spend like a couple of years kind of in the hobby. So then from there, I somehow ended up over on YouTube. I probably just searched manga hauls on there, and I'm like, oh, people are like posting their hauls on here. This is pretty cool. And in like hauls and stuff like that, people are always talking about the series and what the series is about and stuff like that. And same thing with collections. I think that's probably how a lot of people end up watching our channels and stuff on YouTube. And so like certain channels, like same thing with J-Dog in terms of Based. I think Based had like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 collection videos at that point, and I think he does it like once a year. So he had a ton of content up. Insidious Swede is my favorite manga tuber. He has some of the most interesting videos that I've watched. And then Prom Chi was also, he started around that similar time too. Like he had a couple videos up, and he had he was doing like rarer manga. I didn't know about the Old Shaman, so I didn't watch any of his videos just because I wasn't aware of them. But
too fucking late in the community to fighter. Fucking
yeah.
I don't know why he privated all his videos. They were so good.
Yeah, I never I was watching Flip. Also, he had a collection video that did really well. I mean, it was pretty much just like you search collection, like manga collection, and you kind of just like end up on a bunch of people's channels because it's just whoever shows up in the search bar. Especially when you don't know channels, so you're just like, you don't care who you're watching as long as it's a cool looking collection video. But yeah, I mean, I made a video talking about like a bunch of different channels that kind of influenced me. But yeah, there's some of them are still posting a lot, like Prom, and then kind of other people have like gone on to do different things. But yeah, that also really helped because it, like I said, it helped me to like be introduced to so many different series that like I would have had no idea about if I was just looking in the Barnes and Nobles, because like half the series probably aren't even in Barnes and Nobles. And then learning about the r/manga swap and all the other places to be able to like find manga where you're not paying freaking retail for every single volume, because I feel like that's how a lot of people end up not like wasting money, but not getting the best prices because they just go to Barnes and Nobles and don't really know anything else, which was me for a while. And yeah, I mean, I don't have regrets on that, but I do have some. I do kind of wish I knew about Right Stuff and some other places to be able to save at least a little bit of money.
Yeah, that was me for like a whole fucking year. I literally went to Barnes and Noble for like a year and got all my manga there, bro. It was insane. I literally spent so much money.
Wait,
I mean,
one thing.
I kind of.
Well, I was just gonna say real quick is I at least had like some sense to wait for Barnes and Noble, because luckily I think the first time I actually shopped there, they were doing a buy 2 get 1 free sale, which like you have to look and compare prices still, but like I'm happy I at least took advantage of that. I wasn't just like buying tons and tons of volumes for like straight up retail. And at the time I thought like, wow, like this is such a great deal. And sometimes it is, but sometimes it isn't. Like you gotta add both those two prices and then divide them by 3, and that's like the true price you're paying for all 3 of them. And sometimes it's not actually worth it. Sometimes like you just get all 3 volumes on Right Stuff for that same exact price or under it. But yeah, at least I saved a little bit of money doing that, because sometimes that is pretty good from Barnes and Nobles.
I mean,
what were you gonna say, J-Dog?
One thing that about like places for shopping, the first like time I like the first big place that I would just like constantly shop is Kinokuniya, and I think it was like on the topic of code provider. I think he made a video like near Kinokuniya, but like Japan's Kinokuniya. It was a 20th Century Boys review, and he was just fucking in a Kenji costume, like singing like 60s rock songs, like in front of like a bunch of old Japanese people. It was like so good. I'm so sad that he privated.
That sounds crazy.
That sounds hilarious.
So one of the things I noticed is like both you and J-Dog were talking about how like with the whole pandemic you're kind of deep diving into manga, and I think that's for a lot of people have been doing that, where it's like they haven't had anything to do, so they've kind of been just ordering stuff or buying stuff or whatever and just kind of sitting at home and reading manga. So much to the point like a lot of these publishers can't keep up with keeping stuff in stock, so people are thinking stuff is going out of print, but it's really they're just backed up on printing.
Oh yeah, no, that's 100%. And then even looking at like even looking a little further into that, like this is like COVID's been terrible, but it's interesting because I feel like COVID has actually been something not COVID, but quarantine. We'll say quarantine has been actually like really, really beneficial to the anime community in terms of like Netflix has been pushing anime down everyone's throats, and everyone's just been accepting it. Like I feel like it's been more accepted within the last year or two than like ever before, and I think you kind of see that through. I mean, obviously, if you're talking to your friends or something like that who have never watched this stuff, and now they're all of a sudden watching like Haikyuu or My Hero or something like that. Like Netflix has been a huge part of that. YouTube's been a huge part of that. I feel like TikTok. The growth that anime and manga channels have been seeing since quarantine started has been like just absolutely insane, because like people just they're not able to go outside, or they're not able to just do the things they want to do, and so they kind of resort to YouTube, and now they're like finding all these cool videos or cool channels, maybe not even manga related, like anime, or just in general. I think YouTube in general has probably just exploded since quarantine.
Yeah,
which COVID's been terrible, but I would say in terms of internet stuff, there's been a lot of companies that have been really
benefited.
Yeah, benefited from quarantine.
I would definitely agree. Like YouTube and Twitch definitely benefited a fuck ton during this.
Like something that I found really interesting is that besides Dom, you, me, Jake, and Unboxed all started during quarantine. Making manga content.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Which is like it's insane. Like
I think I'm
that's
collecting.
Yeah, well,
wait, what did you say?
Started collecting. I kind of spaced out there.
Oh no.
No, like videos,
our channels. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's why I kind of feel bad. Like, I mean, I can't think of any like on the top of my head, but I'm sure they're out there. Like, I kind of feel bad for channels that were producing similar content like this, but before quarantine, and then like, by quarantine they kind of got burnt out just because there's been so much growth. I feel like there's a lot of channels that produce similar content for like 2 years, but because Netflix and all these other companies like just wasn't pushing out anime like it is now. I kind of feel bad for some of them, because like there's a lot of good content creators just around YouTube in general, I guess, who have just kind of gotten burnt out before quarantine started and like never really picked it back up.
So from
they haven't been able to take advantage.
My view,
Co-Provider would have 100K. Like, bro, no cap, he would have 100K if he was still making videos. Like he had 50K, I think, on his old channel.
Dang, that's a lot.
I don't know who that is.
Too bad.
What were you saying, Dom?
Well, so from my point of view,
he has a second channel.
From going into like, so I went into YouTube a while back, and then I've been going in and out of it, and my channels have been kind of like, I like to reuse my channels all the time. So like, because what's the point of making a new channel every time? I think I have like 10 YouTube channels because I kept doing that, and I'm just like, I have access to like maybe 5. But like what I've seen is like Anatubing coming up. I saw the rise of that, and I'm seeing a similar rise in like manga tubing. So Anatubing started out with collections and hauls, and there were a couple reviews and stuff like that, but it really wasn't like kind of pushed off the ground till much later. And people like the Trash Taste guys are like some of the most popular ones. that I really saw like just skyrocket. And with that skyrocketing, bridging just went downfall, because bridging was super big. There was like Little Kribo and people like him, like Team 4-Star and stuff like that, who were like on their rise. And as Anitubing kind of came up, people cared less and less about the abridged stuff because it came more widely available. And now I'm seeing more of a rise in, like, I'm seeing more of like a leveling out for Anitubing, while manga tubing is kind of steadily starting to rise. I think in the next couple years we'll see that manga tubing will like burst out and start being more prevalent, while Anitubing will kind of die down. And it's just kind of like that system, I think, of just people switching content.
You know what's interesting? So you mentioned manga tubing, and I agree. Although I will also say, I think Anitubing in general I think it hit a peak. But one part of that I feel like has been skyrocketing higher than manga, higher than probably anything else, and that's reaction videos. I feel like anime reaction videos have just absolutely exploded since quarantine. Like, I've seen, I mean, Alonzi, but also like I've talked about him before, like Dean Barry. I can't remember how many subs he was at, but he wasn't at like a ton of, maybe a couple thousand subs. And now, after a couple months, he's about to hit like 100K. And he's just been absolutely killing it doing reaction videos. And and I've said this before, like I'm personally not a fan of reaction videos. Like, I just don't watch them. But I respect the hustle. Like, I respect the grind. Mm-hmm. And obviously a lot of people really, really like those. And that's something that is so like people, from what I see, people like the reaction content. And I think the reaction content's only going to grow because it's based off of the openings and, all this stuff from, anime coming out. And I feel like openings and stuff for anime are just getting better and better and better. So people are just going to keep watching reactions. I think I think that's something that's probably going to be relevant for a while.
So it's interesting you brought that up, because so obviously reaction videos are like a big thing. They've always been a pretty big thing. Mm-hmm. But for anime in general, I think it's the same thing with the manga, where manga tubing starting to rise slowly as COVID's coming on, has been like around in the pandemic, is people are watching these anime, they're watching these manga, but they don't have anybody to share it with. So like you were saying, you were looking for people to kind of share this hobby with. It's nobody has anything to share with, so they're watching these reaction videos, they're watching the manga tube videos, because they're like, well, I'm buying up all this stuff, or I'm watching all this stuff on Netflix, and there's nobody to talk to, so I'm just going to go to YouTube videos, and then I can talk to people in the YouTube comments and stuff like that. People are getting involved in Discords more, I've seen,
Yeah, especially if they see someone with a similar reaction to theirs on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Man,
Yeah.
I feel like that probably helps out a lot in terms of just 100%. Them liking it.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think I should go next now?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, like many people, I when I was pretty little, I watched Pokemon, but like that doesn't really count. Like, people had their Yu-Gi-Ohs, their Dragon Ball Z, some had Naruto and stuff like that. But mine was Pokemon. Like, I just thought it was a cool cartoon, which and I really liked the card game and the Pokemon. It was just a cool world. But I probably like started like anime like 2.5, maybe almost 3 years ago. But like I wasn't really into it. It's kind of weird. I watched some like anime you wouldn't expect really for someone that is just kind of watching stuff. But I watched like One Punch Man season 1 and 2. I think like I really enjoyed that, and it's weird because like I didn't even associate it too much with the anime, but I watched it in sub. I don't really get that now that I look back on it.
Oh, what?
What?
Yeah, I watched it.
This is American.
I don't know. I just didn't think about it. I just watched it on Hulu, and I'm like, this is dope. And like when I was on vacation, I just like binged the Ajin anime, which is very obscure. Like people like probably don't like it's kind of blown up in our community now, but people don't really talk about the anime because it's very CGI. But like
French
again,
people
like
don't know.
I was just kind of watching stuff, so like I don't really notice like CGI and stuff. It's just another show. And I watched like Attack on Titan season 1, and I watched then dub, and then I couldn't find like season 2 in dub like on the main streaming stuff, so kind of I just kind of gave up. Like if I like searched like a little bit, I probably could have found it like right away. But I just kind of gave up because I wasn't really thinking about it that much. I didn't really care too much. But once I got into like Naruto, I very much associated with anime, and I just fell in love with it, and I just binged it like very hard. And like after that, I was kind of like into anime. And then I kind of went on like the shonen binges. I watched like Haikyuu, like yeah, fuck Haikyuu. But I
Oh
watched like
my
My
god.
Hero
Thank
Academia,
you.
and I watched like all of Hunter x Hunter. And that wasn't even like super long ago because there was like a big kind of gap between when I watched like those shows and like when then I got into Naruto because like my friends put me onto it. And then there was like oh now like our manga, like it was a bit different because like it kind of was from Naruto too. Like I was already aware that manga existed. Like I had a friend who said he had like One Piece books and Naruto books, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I didn't even know like they existed, and I was kind of surprised. And like when I was watching like Crunchyroll ads because I wasn't aware of like illegal websites and stuff, so I just sat through the ads because I didn't have a membership. Like I saw the animators of like some anime, I forgot which commercial it was, but they're talking like I'm a fan of the anime or like I'm a fan of the series, and I'm like, but you're creating it, like how? And then like I thought back to like the books stuff and like and then I started watching like this Naruto tuber, I think his name was Swag Kage, because I was very into Naruto at the time, and he
Yeah.
was
Bro, I love
talking about
Swag.
the yeah, and he was talking about the manga a lot, and I just found that cool. And then I started searching up like videos of like Naruto box set unboxings and like the whole vibe of like the box set. Like you get this box, you get all the volumes, they have these cool covers and cool spines. So I really kind of wanted like the first box set, and then I ordered like 2 volumes from the Hidan and Kakuzu arc because I knew I really liked that arc. So if I liked that, like I just wanted to try it out before I went and spent like $120 on a box set. So then I got them on Amazon. I liked them after I read them, and then I ordered the first box set. I really loved it, and then and I read it all and I really loved it. So then I kind of was like, wow, manga's dope. And like, and even before that, like what East was saying, like I just went on like binge of like manga collections. Like I was super, super into manga collections. I remember one night I stayed up till like 5:30 just like watching like every manga collection video I could find. And like also what East said, like I would not have the knowledge I would have had now like about manga, like if there wasn't this community and I wasn't like immersed in it, because like for me like common knowledge right now is there's stuff like Berserk, like Takahiko Inoue, like I wouldn't even know who that is or like what Berserk
Mm-hmm.
was like how would I don't see myself finding it like if I was just like kind of by myself in this and I wasn't like watching stuff. So
Yeah.
that helped me a lot. And like I didn't really go through that where I bought a bunch of stuff retail because when I started going into like collecting manga like heavily was during the Right Stuff birthday sale. So that kind of helped me out. Like I got The Promised Neverland, and I kind of started, like I said, I was very intrigued with box sets, so I would kind of get those, and those were like great deals. Like I got the One Piece box set, I got Dragon Ball box set, and of course I got the first Naruto box set. And then like I just kind of fell into like the downward spiral of just like spending all my money.
I mean,
So
found that free.
I think that's about it. Like I went into it like really heavily, and I'm still kind of into it heavily, but I really want to like calm down now.
Yeah, one thing before we get to Jake, when you were talking about like sort of like how like your friends put you on to stuff, that happened, bro. There's so many friends who put me onto stuff. Like that was just such a big part of it that I kind of left out. Also, there's so many YouTubers. Again, it was just like because again, how I told like is that there's the RPG, and then there was like YouTubers that would mention it, and it was always in the back of my head like Dragon Ball Z. There's a YouTuber named Zelda Master, very fucking cringe shit videos. But he was like,
Whoa!
but like he talked about Dragon Ball Z, and I was like, it was just like it was just in my head. I mean, it was just in the back of my mind. And I was like, fuck it, Dragon Ball Z.
I also want to say that. What was I gonna say? Funny enough, you say that like the birthday sale like got you all like this shit. I didn't complete a single series in that birthday sale.
Really?
I only got Dorohedoro in prison school. Guess what? I didn't finish either.
And, like I got a good amount of stuff. Like I think I got like some Villain Saga. I got like Promised Neverland. I think I started Beastars. I don't know. Yeah. So like there was all this stuff on sale, and I remember being pretty bummed because like I didn't know that every week it would change. So I was on vacation. I'm like, when I get back home, I'm gonna I'm gonna get One Punch Man, and then I'm like, where the fuck did it go? Like what? It was like $5 a volume like a few days ago. But then but that sale was just insane. So there's always stuff to buy, so it was fine.
Yeah. What's it called? Because I did technically get other things than Dorohedoro in prison school for that, but like I got the series that like, I needed like volume 6 could catch me up, you know. So like for new series, I only got prison school and Dorohedoro, and I didn't get either one like full. So I kind of am pissed that it's January and they cuffed me, but what can I do?
Wait, Dom, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is something that also kind of got me into Dragon Ball Z. It's so bad. It's so bad. Do you know like those channels that are like pretending to be characters from Dragon Ball Z and like do reactions and shit?
Oh, that stuff.
It's so bad.
Talking about.
You have like Prince Vegeta, Slick Goku.
Dude, do you know the fucking...
So a lot of abridged
put
channels would do stuff like that, where they would be like the Team 4-star guys. Yeah, they would do all of their like different channels and stuff like that for all the different characters just to make some extra money and stuff.
It was so bad. But I watched so much of it. Like it got me into Dragon Ball Z.
Dude, want to hear one of the funnier things that helped me get into Dragon Ball like later down the line for me? You know those channels are like, what if Goku got AIDS?
Oh, I was just about to copy and paste that.
Dude, those channels got me so weak. Like, Goku tested positive for HIV. Like, those channels made me...
Part one.
Didn't he have like 6 videos on that? Like,
so there's one Dragon Ball Z character rap songs. There was famous ones like Wheezy F. Broly.
oh,
Well, it was also like if like Goku fought like other people.
Yeah,
like
I was
Goku
just
versus
about to
whoever.
say that. Like people
Bro,
doing versus
guys-
episodes like One Punch Man versus Goku.
Like
I don't ever-
SSJ9K. Do you guys know SSJ9K? Like this is I'll show you 3 of his uploads. I'll take a screenshot. This is the kind of shit he uploaded. Dende versus Baby Yoda rap, The Sane Walk official music video, and Goku versus Naruto rap battle 3.
dude, the funny thing is I've seen those like Goku vs Naruto rap battles on my Instagram feed.
Bro, they're so bad. They're so bad. They're so garbage. But like,
See,
bro, I'm gonna watch them tonight. They're just so bad.
those all
They're
stem
so bad
from
that-
like the old AMV videos that used to be so prevalent on YouTube, where it was just like they're called anime music videos, where it was just like people editing clips of anime over top of whatever song. Actually, that's how I found a lot of music that I was enjoying. Like, I find new music because I just watch those. Because the video would be bad, but the music's alright.
Mom, you
Yo,
just
some of
don't
those
get
AMVs actually hit though. Like, there's a one of like Electrovire versus Infernape from like Diamond and Pearl's anime, and that fucking AMV hit different, bro. That fight was insane.
Oh, I'll have
Mom,
to.
you just don't get Shadow the Hedgehog in the end. Linkin Park AMV.
Dude, oh my god, no joke. Which one had Shadow with the gun? Which trailer had Shadow with the gun?
It was
Is that
Shadow the
trailer?
Hedgehog for the PlayStation 2.
Yeah,
Bro,
basically, me and my friends found out that trailer. You take away all the noise and put it to any song, and it works.
Bro, have you seen the one where it's like Shadow the Hedgehog and it's like, wait, I think the one of the worst that appeared up, whenever the Joker movie came out, like a year or two ago, was Joker sad AMVs and like those fucking like sad Bart AMVs.
Oh my
Bro, the
god.
sad Bart ones are.
Yeah.
They're so good.
It's a vibe.
Yo,
It's a
people
vibe.
just putting
Dude,
them
the
on Snapchats.
Sad Bart ones, just the sad Bart AMVs, just remind me of like lo-fi fucking the lo-fi girl sometimes.
Bro, it's like Bart Juice World AMV. All girls are the same.
The old girls the same, bro. That's a good song.
No, but the
Oh,
fucking AMV.
No, I
is
know
so
it's
bad.
so funny though. Just watching how bad the AMV is. Some
Yeah.
AMVs hit though. Some AMVs hit, but
No,
it
some
is
definitely do.
One thing I want to what I was talking about with my kind of backstory, like as you guys were saying again, like quarantine, like I didn't have much to do, like I had enough time to like, cause quarantine like before summer, like school then was kind of like weird. It was almost like a joke, like they would just give us assignments. We wouldn't even have to go to meets. So like, and I could like wake up at like 11 and stuff. So basically like that's why I was able just to like stay up as late as I wanted and like watch as much anime as I wanted. And then like before, like I didn't really like would try to like save money, but I had no idea what to spend it on. This is the first time I really got into something where like I really want to just like spend all my money, and then like I would try to find ways to make money and like do all that. And I just like really got sucked into it, especially from quarantine, because I was just sitting in my house so much. And like I get to, and one of the things was like I remade my like room a lot. Like my room was really plain. Now it's like has posters and like figures and lots of manga. So like that
Can
was
you
kind
tell
of
I like anime?
Yeah,
Manga
exactly.
wall.
I mean, yeah, you do have
One of my first introductions to Unboxed was him doing his manga wall, where he's like, okay, and he puts
Microwaving a
a
book.
manga on a plate and he puts it in the microwave, and I was like, what is this man
On a
doing?
plate.
No,
dude, he eats that shit. What do you think? Where do you think microwave made box came from?
I seriously
Unbox.
I seriously thought
What were you
he
saying?
was gonna that he was gonna literally like do like what is the
Mukbang?
yeah, where they just like eat strange like stuff.
Mukbangs,
I literally thought he was
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
like
yeah.
take out a fork and a knife and just
Manga
start
song.
eating the manga.
Hey, don't that's me and Manga Unbox next collab, okay?
Manga mukbang? Yeah, that would be dope.
Manga page mukbang.
I need to know the best way
Eating
to.
Haikyuu with J-Dog.
Yeah.
I need to know the best way to
vagabond?
prepare it.
Yeah,
Oven, microwave, toaster. Like, what's the best way?
I don't know. Microwave is pretty solid. Like you could get nice marks on it if you throw it on a grill, or even a toaster works too. Toaster ovens are pretty solid. Waffle is one of my favorites, but
Oh, bro,
I don't
waffle
know.
maker's elite.
He just
Bro,
said
you know,
Unboxed
stove?
on the news for burning down
Dope,
his house.
bro.
Oven
Stove is
makes it
elite.
crisp.
Yo, just a disclaimer: this podcast is not responsible for if you burn your house down doing this.
just
Yeah.
don't microwave it for over 30
For
seconds.
putting manga volume in a toaster.
We're
Two
not telling
teenagers
you
Please
burn
to
down
do
their
it.
houses.
We're not telling you to do it.
If you have
If
any,
do, film it.
Add a
It's Unboxed fault.
Twitter.
Film it, and if you do, it's all Unboxed
Oh,
fault.
100%.
Just
I'm not taking
email the
credit.
podcast. Email the podcast legal team at demco@gmail.com.
Hey.
We don't advise
What about
doing
Beak
it.
Toki?
We don't
At
advise
Beak
doing
Toki.
it.
At beatdemco.com.
But if you do
Yeah,
do
Beak
it,
Wait,
Vegan
is
Demco.
oh, is Beak the legal team?
Raku Otaku
Yeah,
podcast
Beak-
on
Beak's part of it.
Instagram. We'll put it on our story.
All right. I
Okay,
think
Add
I
us.
think,
Post a
I
volume.
think the legal team. The legal team is just Kate, Beak, Gameo, and
But we do
Demco.
not recommend it.
That's the crew.
But if you do it, add us on Instagram.
Alright, so I think we
Yeah.
should finish
True,
up
true,
with
Send
Jake.
your craziest picks.
Okay, so mine can get depressing at near the end, but to start off, I'm not only the odd ones out here because you guys said you guys like start on Pokemon and like Dragon Ball and shit. I started off with Beyblade and Bakugan as a kid.
Beyblade.
So like,
Pokemon Battle Brawlers.
dude, Beyblade fucking slap, bro. There's
I
nothing
don't
else.
even-
Beyblade was so good.
I watched that at my cousin's house. I remember.
I don't
My
even consider
memories
those
of-
like anime. I considered it like going along with the toys, even though like Pokemon and all that was going along with the toys. But I was just like Beyblade and all that. Which, by the way, Beyblades used to be vicious.
Pokemon
Those things were
decent.
made of metal. Now they're like plastic.
Oh yeah, my sister has a scar from one, but
Yeah.
I don't care.
What's
I
it
don't give a
called?
fuck.
Yo, I'm gonna cop the
what's it
Beyblade
called? It's
manga.
fun. Dude, I wish. There actually is, but it's not printed in English, I think. But basically, I started off with those two. Then I went into Pokemon, and then once I hit like, what was it, like kindergarten or some shit? I found out Dragon Ball. Like, I watched it like when I was like 3, 4. I didn't really count that as anime, you know. And like, I started watching Dragon Ball, and I literally used to take days off in kindergarten just to watch Dragon Ball reruns. So then after that, I like kind of just didn't watch anime. I kind of like kicked Butowski and like Total Drama Island until I was like 12,
Oh,
and then after that, I went on to like track, and I went to varsity track when I was like 12, and then my friend was just like, Jake, you have to watch this thing called Steins Gate, and I'm like, okay, so we hung out, and we just like hung out and chilled out for a little bit, and then he's like, okay, we're watching it now, and then I didn't have much time because I had like some family shit I had to do. So then we only got to like 3 episodes. Now, if you watch Steins Gate, you cannot watch just the first 3 episodes. You have to watch past episode 8 for the first time you watch it. Like, you can't. It's just you can't do that. So then it was just like I didn't find much enjoyment out of it. Then I went home, and he gave me his Crunchyroll account. Now, I hope you know at this point I'm still leeching off his Crunchyroll, Verve, and Funimation account. I'm sorry, but he knows. And basically, I went home, and the story goes: I watched Danmachi. I binged the first season of Danmachi, and that's where it all started. My degeneracy started with a boy that was older than me, 15 years old, falling in love for a girl in a dungeon, covered in blood. So, that's where it started.
God
And I
bless.
basically watched a bunch of fucking... I was one of those kids who hated reading. Yeah, I didn't like reading at all as a kid. I hated it so much, because, let me just say, all the books that school assigns you are complete ass. I only found really enjoyment out of like Lord of the Flies. Other than that, I really didn't like any.
Lord of the Flies is just like fucking Steins Gate. Actually, no, it's like Steins Gate with a shit payoff.
You know,
Yeah, no, it's not shit, but it's decent.
It's just like, bro, it's just like
It's
we had to wait so long.
Yeah, we had to wait so long, but I did like what happened enough to where I was like, okay. But like, after that, I was like, one of those kids for like 4 fucking years. It's just like, no, manga cringe. I'm not doing that. So I was like, what was it, like 15, 14? So actually like 2 to 3 years I was like that. I got into my scan era. Now, if you don't like scans, fuck you. Sorry, East, but
Get out of here, I'll talk to
He's
Mike.
gonna kill you.
East, I'm sorry. But I read scans for like 3 months straight. And that's where I found series like Monster, which I don't remember anything from. For me, Monster is something I tried turning my brain off in reading, which you cannot do with Monster. So I can't really say anything about that.
Bad pick.
You really can't. I'm gonna reread Monster at one point. I want to get singles though, but Monster was one of them. 20th Century Boys one of them. I still remember 20th Century Boys a little bit. I have it now, most of it. What else was there? I think I caught up to date with Black Clover at that point, which was at like in between 20th Century Boys and Monster. I took like a 2-month break, like from those two to Black Clover, from anime and manga, and then that's why I like Black Clover so much. Is it caught me up and made me want to read more manga and anime. So that's why I like Black Clover. I'm biased towards it, and then I also read My Hero. Caught up to date with that. I'm not up to date with it currently though. And then after like 2 to 3 months, I kind of just started collecting physically, and I started off with Yu Yu Hakusho for my birthday, which my mom found a deal for at like 110 or 150 or some shit on eBay for like all of Yu Yu Hakusho, and I got that for my birthday. And I binged that. I love Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho is great. And after that, like, a month later or so, I went to the mall for the first time in a while. Not like the first time ever, but like in a while. And I didn't know that there was these stores that actually sold manga. So I went to like Newberry Comics, and I found Twin Star Exorcist, and that's where I picked up Twin Star Exorcist. It's my second ever series I ever picked up. And I went. That's where I usually bought my manga from for like a month or so, month or two, for like that summer. And then I was kind of dumb because there's a Barnes and Nobles right next to it, and I was like, Barnes and Nobles doesn't sell picture books; it sells wordy books like Lord of the Flies. Who cares about Barnes and Nobles? And one day, my mom's just like, I'm gonna go to the store next to Barnes and Nobles. You can just hang out outside or go in. So I went in, and I found out they had a manga section. Ripped my wallet after that, bro. Like a whole year cost of like. I think it was like 2017, 2018. I literally spent so much money at Barnes and Nobles. It was disgusting. It actually made me depressed.
Like at a
I
time.
feel that.
Dude, I literally got like all of My Hero at once. I got all of Black Clover at once. I got all of Promised Neverland at once. Not at the same time, of course, but like in different trips. Like I got like 20 volume series at once, and I was just hating. My wallet hated me. It was bad.
Yeah.
I was about to get all of Haikyuu at one point, at once. Which at that point was like 35 volumes.
I think the only reason to buy
Yeah,
from Barnes and Noble is like if you want to get a manga that's coming out like sooner, because they'll put it out in stock like maybe like a week or less in advance. So instead of like pre-ordering something, you can get it from them earlier. But other than that,
Yeah, they can be insane.
But like
Yeah.
even then, my local comic book shop that's like maybe like 45 minutes away from me, they get it like they had the Blade of the Immortal, the new deluxe edition. They had that over 2 weeks ahead of time. Like they had that in
They don't
stock.
give a fuck. They just put it out when they want.
Yeah, well, my friend got it, and he was like, "Yeah, they wouldn't let me take it out of the store that day because they're like, we don't want people knowing we put it out this far in advance." And he was like, "Okay, but it's still like 2.5 weeks early. Like one day is not gonna make a difference."
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna pick up. I forget what it might have been. I think it was Kodansha that I was trying to pick up maybe the newest like Rental Girlfriend volume.
Yeah.
And I called like one of the main stores I really like using, and they're like, it was like the day before, and they're like, oh no, sorry, like we can't release this early. Like technically we have it, but like we can't sell it yet. And I'm like, okay, like it literally releases tomorrow, and I'm like, I've gotten early manga from you guys before, and they're like, yeah, like different companies require like different things, and we're like not trying to get in trouble. So I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I'm gonna go drive down to Barnes and Nobles and pick this up then, because they have it. So I just went down there and picked it up. But apparently, like different companies feel different ways about stores selling stuff early.
Yeah, I think also though it's like the employees won't really, for the most part, even if they have it like on the shelf and you can buy it, they won't say it over the phone. You'll have to go in and check.
Yeah, these
So shitty.
yeah these guys knew me though. Like so, like they said it was in stock, but they're just like, yeah, we can't technically like ring it up.
So fuck Kodansha again?
Yeah, fuck Kodansha.
I mean, kind of.
But
actually no, because I mean,
No, that was more
they-
of a store.
already fucked.
yeah, no, that
Barnes and
was
Noble had it.
yeah.
It's Kodansha's fault.
The bigger chains are chilling. So
Well, they're not
Everything's
making
put
money
onto
as
the
well,
shelf.
so they need every help they can get.
that's facts.
Kodansha created COVID.
With their
Wouldn't be
spine.
surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. Their spines, they leak out COVID. Fuck Kodansha. Everything is Kodansha's fault. If you ever have a problem in life, blame Kodansha. You lose your
And
house, it was
Haikyuu.
Kodansha, because their prices are absurd for
And
their
Haikyuu.
quality.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't know how you hate Kodansha more than Dark Horse.
Yeah.
I don't know most of the stuff Dark Horse releases. That's probably why.
Kodansha got me evicted from my house.
Kodansha made
I
me
mean-
want to just...
You probably don't like it because like the availability of being able to even read it is so difficult.
Honestly,
Sure.
like the glossy Kodansha volume spines, they don't get damaged as easy, but like the happiness volumes I have, that's kind of more papery, and the spines on there get like messed up like super easy.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think Viz Sigs are the best
Yeah, for sure.
like volume of manga.
They're the
Anywhere.
nicest size. I really like that size.
100%.
But I like Vertical's like style of like how they make their books so much more than like any other publisher.
Does only
actually,
Vertical.
and Vertical and
Yo.
Square Enix. Square Enix has got some really nice.
Bro, Dom, why? Bro, in our fucking, well, I don't know if it was our manga publishers episode, bro. Why the fuck weren't you fucking backing me up on
I
Vertical?
did.
You were
we were
fucking
talking
silent.
about it. No, we were
Really?
talking about
Bro,
You gotta rewatch.
short-term memory loss.
Yeah, you gotta rewatch that show.
Me and
boy.
you were the only ones
Yeah.
like going off about that stuff.
No, I said it was good. I said I
Really?
was talking about Vertical
Oh
being good.
man, we're all need to rewatch.
Yeah, too bad. Fuck Kodansha. They bought Vertical, so I guess Vertical's gonna get a fuck Vertical at one point,
Well,
but
No,
not as much as
you
Kodansha.
better not.
There's still Square Enix.
Well, to continue on with my start date, basically I spent a fuck ton of money on manga at Barnes & Nobles, and at that point I was still watching a lot of anime, because this was like 2018, so yeah, I was still watching, like, this point I hurt myself, and I started watching Fairy Tail. So if you don't know, I fucking hate Fairy Tail. I gave it like 200 episodes or some shit, and I hated every second of it.
Like a
So
dumbass.
I basically, everyone told me, just wait till the end of the Grand Magic Games, wait for it. And I did. No payoff. That was the worst payoff of my life. That was so terrible.
Who are these friends that are telling you this shit, bro?
Shonen tards like me, but basically, at this point I was still into shonen so heavily, I only really watched shonens and, like, nothing else. Maybe a romance here and there, like Chinubyu or whatever. I watched that. That was pretty good. But basically, I was only watched. And then after Fairy Tail, I watched Ace of the Diamonds. And I kind of went on a manga depression again for a little bit. But not for too long, because I just went on for like a month, basically, because I just watched Ace of the Diamonds. I came back, and I forgot what I was reading when I came back, because I didn't really like it too much. I think I sold that series, so I don't even remember, but basically after that, I was just like steadily getting manga for like about till the beginning of 2019, and then some shit happened, and I got really depressed because my dad passed away like late 2019, and I basically went on a huge depression for anime and manga for like 2-3 months, and then I got Berserk right before the deluxes came out, and I didn't read it until after that depression of like 2 or 3 months of just no anime and manga. And that's why I probably love Berserk so much, because I read Berserk, all of it, in a week, and that got me so much back into manga. And then right after I started reading Berserk, quarantine hit, and I just got so much more manga at that point, because I think my collection was at like 400 volumes, and now looking at it, it's over 1,000 volumes, and it's only been like 6 months-ish, 7 months, so like it's been, I had a fuck ton of manga during that time. I also did sell some, but like I did get a fuck ton, and I usually at this point I just like knew about other things like eBay. This is when I started using eBay, Mercari. I didn't use r/manga swap yet. I never used that actually, r/manga swap. I used Facebook Marketplace, and I used those 3 things a lot more to get better deals on manga at this point, because that's where I like found some deals, and I found out that's where you should be getting this stuff, because then you don't have to pay full retail. So basically, after that, I just kind of just started reading manga and anime, and basically I dropped off anime, like you guys said, unless it really engrosses you. So I don't really watch many anime. Right now, the only anime I really want to watch is Komodo Jihen. I made a video on it too. Like that's banger anime. But then
Yeah, go ahead.
what? I was gonna
I'm
say,
kind of like in a small anime depression now, and it kind of sucks because I'm in the middle of watching Code Geass, and like
Masterpiece of a show,
I
bro.
really want to watch it, but like I just never seem to make time for it.
The ending will make it your favorite anime. How far are you?
I think I'm like probably like 5 to 10 episodes into season 2.
Bro, just watch those next like 15 episodes. You will not be
Maybe.
sorry,
See.
bro. You gotta.
Honestly, I really
If I'm
like.
not gonna finish it. It just might take a while.
No, I respect it 100%.
I really like short anime. Like something that I watched really recently that was like really really good was Erased on Netflix. So good,
Ending.
and it was like I don't know, like 13 episodes or something like that.
Bro.
Yeah, I just really liked it. I can't do like a 200 episode or even like a 100 episode anime right now. Like that's just that's like a full on commitment, and to be able to do that and like read stuff from your collection, it's just like that's a lot of time you need to dedicate.
yeah.
For me, it was like for my thoughts on Erased was that like it started off as a 10 out of 10, but the ending literally, like, if I had a driver's license, I'd fucking drive my car off a bridge. It was that terrible.
I would still give the ending like 7 or 8 out of 10. It's just really fucking predictable.
I'd say
Yeah.
a 6. It just fucking ruined. It took me out of the immersion.
I mean,
So
it's an anime that's adapted from a manga, so everyone says that the manga is like way better and has like way more content to it, including the antagonist's like backstory. So I got that, which I'm gonna check out soon. So I guess I'll can make a video soon. Just a heads up. Volume 1's really difficult to find apparently right now.
Fuck.
So
Like
finish up
all manga.
Finish up like what I have to say because it's not much I also have to say. Basically, during this time, I also and like just started binging anime because like during quarantine, it was like I started binging anime because I had same as Unboxed. They just gave me like 3 assignments a day, and I woke up at like 3 p.m. every day, so I went to bed at like 8 a.m. And I kind of just did those assignments and started binging anime. That's when I like watched Bleach and did all that shit. And what else? So basically, then I started getting into manga too because mid to late 2020, I found YouTubers like East, Prom. Who else did I find? Well, I found you a little bit later down the line, J-Dog, but
yeah.
East and Prom I found funny enough from their scam videos, like the cat piss video and Prom getting scammed from the Spanish Gans volume. That kind of got me into manga too, and then like a month later I started doing mine, so...
You were like,
yeah,
I want to get scammed eventually.
And I did! I did.
That was the birth of the manga fanatic.
That was the birth of the manga fanatic.
You sold me Black Lagoon, and then I sold that to Tux, because I
then
got another one.
When I first started getting into like manga tube, like I basically just watched the channels that I thought that I watched the collections for, and I thought were good, and then like as I continued watching it, like I kind of found the ones that I wanted to watch like more throughout.
Yeah.
My
first haul was by Mixed. My first manga haul was...
My first haul was...
Sorry, yeah.
I think my first haul was probably Gear. Gear was the first haul where I was like, shit! I watched a lot of collections before hauls, and I also didn't make my own haul for quite a bit, because I just never understood hauls for the longest time. But now I got it. I never understood.
Opposite. I didn't watch any collections. I watched a fuck ton of hauls. Like Mixed got me into watching hauls because if you don't know Mixed of manga, his first video got like 50 fucking K views.
50K?
Yeah, his first video got like 50K views, and this is his first haul, and that got me into hauls, and then I just started watching hauls from then. I watched that after I watched the scammed videos. But
50K?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I know, a lot.
Yeah, it's at 46 right now.
Because like that video, like if you searched up manga haul, like that video was like at the top for like months.
Yeah,
it's a wild thumbnail too.
Yeah, basically, you know how Mixed for a while didn't they make thumbnails? He just let YouTube make them. His YouTube algorithm picked the perfect moment where he showed every single volume, and there was just like a huge table just covered in manga.
Okay, let me check. Bro, the thing is that my latest haul got less views than my earlier ones, and I actually fucking showed the manga in the thumbnail. I have no clue why.
I don't know. Yeah, I think that should be it. I think we all said our piece about how we started and how we're doing now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's all we have to talk about. So before I end this off, I want to say fuck Haikyuu. Nothing else has to be said. Go end it.